Dad, you are an icon, a legend, a storyteller, and most importantly, the best girl dad any young woman could ever dream of.
Kobe Bryant's death shook the world, but for his daughter, the shock became something far darker after she found a sealed letter from her father. Word is, it hinted at details about his death, and many believe it wasn't as natural as it seemed.
Wake up! You gotta wake up! Need to be woke. It's happening right in front of your face.
What exactly did Kobe write in that envelope? Let's get into it. The discovery that changed everything. The months following January 26, 2020, were among the darkest in the Bryant family's history. Vanessa Bryant, suddenly a widow at 37, found herself navigating not only her own overwhelming grief, but also the heartbreak of helping her 3 surviving daughters, Natalia, Bianca, and Capri, process the incomprehensible loss of their father and sister. But in the aftermath of Kobe's death, something unexpected surfaced. A series of heartfelt letters he had written to Vanessa and their daughters with some heavy revelations. Vanessa was the first to discover her letter. This happened just over 3 months after the devastating helicopter crash that claimed the lives of NBA legend Kobe Bryant, their 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and 7 others. Vanessa came across something completely unexpected, an unopened letter from her late husband. The envelope, addressed with the touching endearment "to the love of my life" and signed "from to Poppy," represented something deeply personal, a message from Kobe she had never read, words he had written that she had never heard. The letter was found on May 4th, 2020, and Vanessa chose to open it the next day, on her birthday, May 5th, as a way to give herself something to look forward to. The timing, however, was bittersweet. This was Vanessa's first birthday without Kobe and Gianna, a day that should have been led with celebration, but instead was shadowed by heartbreak. The letter's discovery offered her a small emotional anchor during this painful milestone. What made the envelope even more remarkable was the artwork it contained. On the outside, there was a drawing by an artist depicting an angel holding Vanessa up, an image that would prove to be both comforting and eerily symbolic given the circumstances. As she shared on Instagram, "Yesterday I found an envelope labeled to the love of my life from Poppy. I waited to open one more letter on my birthday. It gave me something to look forward to today." The irony is that Kobe had a photo of me drawn with an angel holding me up by an artist on the cover. These words, shared with millions of followers, oared a rare glimpse into her private grief and the quiet strength she found in his words. But Vanessa's letter wasn't the only one. It was the letter addressed to his daughters that truly stirred conversation. Reports that surfaced as early as February 2020 suggested Kobe wrote farewell letters to each of his 4 daughters. And this discovery created one of the most emotionally complex moments in the Bryant family's journey through grief. Did Kobe know he was going to die? The question haunted fans and friends alike. The idea that Kobe might have left these letters behind felt both heartbreaking and eerily intentional. Some people couldn't accept the tragedy for what it was, an accident, and from that refusal to accept reality came an avalanche of conspiracy theories. The most persistent conspiracy theory centered around a trademark lawsuit Kobe had led against high-tech pharmaceuticals. The theory falsely claimed that Kobe was killed to prevent him from testifying about pharmaceutical companies lacing diet pills with opioids. The reality was far more mundane. Kobe had led a notice of opposition in 2017 with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office against high-tech pharmaceuticals for using his Black Mamba nickname for dietary supplements. The conspiracy theorist's timeline was completely wrong. The case was settled on January 2nd, 2020, 3 weeks before the crash, with no court documents mentioning opioids or any criminal activity. The NTSB's investigation found no connection between this lawsuit and the helicopter crash, which was attributed to pilot spatial disorientation in cloudy conditions. Even more disturbing were the anti-Semitic conspiracy theories that emerged. An Argentine journalist, Eduardo Salim Saad, posted on X, claiming that the Sikorsky S-76 helicopter had a Jewish surname and implied Jewish involvement in the crash. This baseless claim was swiftly condemned as anti-Semitic by Argentina's Jewish political umbrella, Daya, and others. The theory was easily debunked. Igor Sikorsky, the founder of Sikorsky Aircraft Corporation, was born in Kyiv and identified as Russian Orthodox Christian, with his family descended from Russian Orthodox priests. There was no Jewish connection to the helicopter manufacturer, and the NTSB found no evidence of foul play related to the aircraft. Another conspiracy theory linked Kobe's death to QAnon and the so-called Clinton body count. QAnon followers claimed that Kobe was killed because he was about to expose natural misconduct by the Clintons, particularly related to the Clinton Global Initiative's Haiti Fund. The evidence for this theory was a fabricated X post supposedly from Kobe stating, "I have information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton." PolitiFact thoroughly debunked this claim, confirming that no such post existed and that Kobe had already died in the crash before the alleged posting time. The fabricated nature of this evidence underscored the complete lack of credibility in these conspiracy theories. More recently, conspiracy theorists have attempted to link Kobe's death to Sean Diddy Combs' legal troubles. The theory suggests that Kobe was targeted to prevent him from exposing illegal activities related to Diddy, based on his attendance at Diddy's 50th birthday party in December 2019. This theory is purely speculative, with no credible evidence suggesting Kobe had knowledge of or intended to expose any illegal activity. The connection appears to be coincidental timing rather than any substantive link, and the NTSB report makes no mention of Diddy or any related motives for the crash. Some conspiracy theorists have even claimed connections to Dr. Sebi, a self-proclaimed healer who died in 2016. The theory alleges that Kobe was killed because he planned to speak about Dr. Sebi's natural remedies, but there is no record of Kobe ever mentioning Dr. Sebi or his treatments. The spread of these conspiracy theories followed a familiar pattern. PolitiFact noted that false ag narratives and out-of-context videos proliferated after the tragedy, often exploiting public grief and distrust in institutions. These theories consistently lacked credible evidence and were contradicted by official investigations. The most troubling aspect of these conspiracies wasn't just their falseness, but their impact on the Bryant family. While Vanessa was dealing with unimaginable grief and getting legal battles over photo sharing violations, she also had to contend with wild theories that turned her family's tragedy into entertainment for conspiracy theorists. Dr. Umar Johnson, a conspiracy theorist, even alleged that the Illuminati assassinated Kobe as part of a white supremacist plot, claiming the helicopter's propeller was sabotage. Johnson's claims relied on anecdotal reasoning rather than facts, and the NTSB found no evidence of sabotage or mechanical tampering. The exploitation of Kobe's death for conspiracy theories revealed disturbing patterns in how high-profile tragedies are weaponized for various agendas, whether anti-Semitic, anti-pharmaceutical, or tied to broader conspiracy movements like QAnon. These theories shared common characteristics. They relied on fabricated evidence, ignored official investigations, and exploited grief for attention or ideological purposes. The official investigation was thorough and transparent. The NTSB conducted an extensive investigation, releasing a 72-page report that found the crash was caused by pilot error, specifically spatial disorientation in dense fog. There was no evidence of mechanical failure, sabotage, or any external interference. The persistence of conspiracy theories, despite clear evidence to the contrary, highlighted the challenges of combating misinformation in the digital age. Social media platforms became breeding grounds for these false narratives, often amplified by algorithms that prioritized engagement over accuracy. For fact-checkers and legitimate news organizations, debunking these theories became an ongoing battle. Multiple organizations, including PolitiFact, USA Today, and others, repeatedly addressed and debunked various conspiracy claims, but the theories persisted in certain corners of the internet. Perhaps most heartbreaking was how these conspiracy theories affected the Bryant family's ability to grieve in peace.
Dad, you are an icon, a legend, a storyteller, and most importantly, the best girl dad any young woman could ever dream of. I'm honored to be here to represent you and our family, and we are extremely proud of you. We will love you forever and always. Love, Natalia, Gianna, Bianca, Capri, and Mommy.
While Natalia spoke these beautiful words honoring her father's memory, conspiracy theorists continued to spread false narratives about his death, some even believing that this letter could hold the answers. But the theories haven't been the only thing the Bryant family has had to endure. Kobe's death came with even more drama. When grief becomes a battle, the families fight for justice. For Vanessa, the real nightmare wasn't just losing Kobe and Gianna, it was what followed. What the family discovered in the days following the tragedy would turn their private mourning into a very public battle for dignity and justice. Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies and firefighters had allegedly taken and shared graphic photos of the victims' remains from the crash site, violating not just protocol, but the fundamental respect owed to the deceased and their families. The violation was so egregious that it prompted Vanessa to take legal action, filing a lawsuit that would span years and reveal the depth of institutional failures. The lawsuit alleged negligence, invasion of privacy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, seeking compensatory and punitive damages. For a woman already dealing with the loss of her husband and daughter, this additional trauma represented a betrayal of trust at the most vulnerable moment of her life.
We will not be able to see Gigi go to high school with Natalia and ask her how her day went. We didn't get the chance to teach her how to drive a car. I won't be able to tell her how gorgeous she looks on her wedding day. I'll never get to see my baby girl walk down the aisle, have a father-daughter dance with her daddy, dance on the dance floor with me or have babies of her own.
These words, spoken before 20,000 people at the Staples Center, represented not just personal grief, but the loss of a future that had been meticulously planned and deeply anticipated. The photo sharing scandal added another layer of violation to this already profound loss. The legal proceedings revealed disturbing details about the sharing of crash site photos. In October 2021, Vanessa provided a deposition detailing the day of the crash and her emotional response to learning about the shared photos. She recounted receiving notifications like RIP Kobe on her phone before official confirmation of the deaths, adding to the trauma of that horrific day.
Gigi was very competitive like her daddy, but Gianna had a sweet grace about her. Her smile was like sunshine. Her smile took up her entire face, like mine. Kobe always said she was me. She had my fire, my personality, and sarcasm. But she was tender and loving on the inside. She had the best laugh. It was infectious. It was pure and genuine.
The grief was amplified by the knowledge that these intimate moments, these precious memories, had been violated by the unauthorized sharing of crash site photos. The legal battle wasn't just about money, it was about accountability and ensuring that other families wouldn't sue the same violation during their darkest hours. In August 2022, a federal jury awarded Vanessa Bryant $16 million in damages, later adjusted to $15 million due to a clerical error. Co-plaintiff Chris Chester, who lost his wife and daughter in the same crash, received $19.95 million. But the financial settlement was only part of the story. Los Angeles County agreed to a total settlement of $28.85 million in February 2024, which included the $15 million jury award to Vanessa, an additional $13.85 million from the county, and funds for potential claims by her daughters. The tax implications of the settlement were significant, with the IRS considering the entire amount taxable, including legal fees, which could consume up to 40% of the settlement. This added another layer of complexity to an already difficult situation.
Usually people thank everyone that has helped them get here. But since I don't have Kobe's specific list, I want to thank my husband. He did the work. He broke those records. And he inspired people to be great. I want to thank him for somehow finding ways to dedicate time to not only being an incredible athlete, a visionary entrepreneur, and storyteller, but for also being an amazing family man.
The strength Vanessa showed during this period was remarkable. While fighting a legal battle over the violation of her family's privacy, she was also navigating her role as a single mother to 3 daughters while preserving Kobe's legacy. The family has honored Kobe through various initiatives, including the Mamba and Mambacita Foundation, which continues to support youth sports. The photo sharing scandal highlighted broader issues within law, enforcement agencies about protocols during high-profile incidents. The lawsuit brought attention to the need for stricter guidelines about handling sensitive materials and respecting victims' families during tragedies.
Thank you for putting your love for our family first. Thank you for bringing so much joy to our lives and joy to the people around the world.
The legal victory, while significant, couldn't undo the additional trauma the family had endured, but it did establish important precedents about privacy rights and accountability during tragedies. The settlement also provided financial security for Vanessa and her daughters, allowing them to focus on healing and preserving Kobe's legacy rather than worrying about ongoing legal battles. The strength of the Bryant family during this period was re-acted in how they continue to support each other and honor Kobe's memory. Vanessa has credited her daughters, Natalia, Bianca, and Capri, as her light in the darkness, noting how they help her smile through the pain. The lawsuit's resolution in 2024 finally allowed the family to close this particular chapter of their grief journey, but the scars from having to fight for basic dignity during their most vulnerable time would remain. The case became a powerful reminder that even in death, public gurus and their families deserve respect and privacy. The $28.85 million settlement wasn't just compensation. It was recognition that what happened to the Bryant family was wrong and should never happen to any family facing such devastating loss. It was a victory not just for Vanessa and her daughters, but for anyone who believes that grief should be protected, not exploited or violated. Through lawsuits, courtrooms, and headlines, Vanessa stood firm. But beyond the battle for justice was something even more powerful: the memory of the man behind the legend. Not just Kobe Bryant the athlete, but Kobe Bryant the father. And it was through his words, his letters, and the life he built to the court that the real story unfolded. The father behind the legend, Behind the fierce competitor known as the Black Mamba was a man who had undergone one of the most profound transformations in sports history. Kobe Bryant, the relentless perfectionist who once scored 81 points in a single game, had evolved into something even more remarkable. A devoted father whose greatest victories happened not on the basketball court, but in the quiet moments with his 4 daughters. And it was through his letters, both public and deeply private, that the world would come to understand just how completely he had transformed. The most famous letter, Dear Basketball, which Kobe wrote in 2015 announcing his retirement, was just the tip of the iceberg. But what the public didn't know was that Kobe had been writing letters to his family long before that farewell to basketball. These weren't just casual notes. They were profound expressions of love that revealed a man who understood that his greatest legacy wouldn't be measured in championship, but in the relationships he built with his daughters and wife.
He was thoughtful and wrote the best love letters and cards, and Gigi had his wonderful ability to express her feelings into paper and make you feel her love through her words.
This wasn't just about occasional romantic gesture. Kobe was known for his thoughtful written expressions, including gifting Vanessa the blue dress from the Notebook movie. When Vanessa asked him why he chose that particular dress, he explained it was because of the scene when Allie comes back to Noah. They had hoped to grow old together like in the movie.
Dear Kobe, thank you for being the best husband and father you could possibly be. Thank you for growing and learning from your own mistakes. Thank you for always trying to be better. Thank you for never giving up on us.
The transformation was so complete that Kobe had become hands-on in ways that would surprise those who only knew him as the fierce competitor.
Kobe was the MVP of girl dads, or MVD. He never left the toilet seat up. He always told the girls how beautiful and smart they are. He taught them how to be brave and how to keep pushing forward when things get tough.
This wasn't just about being present. It was about Kobe applying the same obsessive attention to detail that made him great at basketball to being the perfect father. He refused to be mediocre at anything, including parenthood. Transformation was so complete that Kobe had become hands-on in ways that would surprise those who only knew him as the fierce competitor.
He happily did carpool and enjoyed spending time in the car with our girls. He was a doting father, a father that was hands-on and present. He helped me bathe Bianca and Capri almost every night. He would sing them silly songs in the shower and continue making them laugh and smile as he lathered them in lotion and got them ready for bed.
Perhaps the most touching revelation was about his relationship with their youngest daughter, Capri.
He had magic arms and could put Capri to sleep in only a few minutes. He said he had it down to a science. 8 times up and down our hallway.
This image of Kobe Bryant, the man who once demanded perfection from every teammate, pacing the hallway of his home, perfecting the art of getting his baby daughter to sleep, shows the complete evolution of his priorities. The same obsessive dedication that made him great at basketball had been redirected toward mastering fatherhood. The depth of Kobe's transformation became even more apparent when his eldest daughter, Natalia, spoke about their relationship.
One may wonder why I've developed such a fondness for movies like Star Wars, Harry Potter, the complete Marvel Universe, and Goonies, amongst many others. Well, the reason behind it is that I watched all of these movies with my dad, and each of those memories I will never forget. He is the reason I'm pursuing film in college, and he is the reason film has inspired me to create memories like ours for other people, to even bring more fathers and daughters together like us.
This wasn't just a father tolerating his daughter's interests. This was someone who actively cultivated shared experiences, creating bonds that would last a lifetime.
I remember sitting beside him during late nights, whether I was working on a school project, getting a midnight snack, or unable to sleep. He would always be awake, writing, storyboarding, editing, and that story evolved into the story that we all love and cherish, Dear Basketball.
The most heartbreaking aspect of Kobe's transformation was revealed in the plans he had made for the future. This text message represents one of the most devastating aspects of the tragedy. Here was a man who had spent years learning to balance his drive for excellence with his love for his family, and just when he had found that perfect balance, it was taken away. Kobe's relationship with each of his daughters was unique and special. With Natalia, he shared his love of films and storytelling. With Gianna, he found a kindred spirit who shared his basketball passion and competitive drive. With Bianca and Capri, he was learning to be present for their earliest years in ways his career had sometimes prevented with his older daughters.
My baby girl, Gianna Bryant, is an amazingly sweet and gentle soul. She was always thoughtful. She always kissed me goodnight and kissed me good morning. There were a few occasions where I was absolutely tired from being up with Bianca and Capri, and I thought she had left to school without saying goodbye. I'd text and say, "No kiss," and Gianna would reply with, "Mama, I kissed you, but you were asleep and I didn't want to wake you."
The tragedy of January 26, 2020 wasn't just that Kobe and Gianna died, it was that they died just as Kobe had perfected the art of living for his family. The letter, Dear Basketball, had marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of what should have been his greatest one. Instead, it became a testament to a transformation cut short, leaving behind daughters who would carry forward not just his competitive spirit, but his capacity for love, dedication, and presence.
They were so easy to love. Everyone naturally gravitated towards them. They were funny, happy, silly, and they loved life. They were so full of joy and adventure. God knew they couldn't be on this earth without each other. He had to bring them home to heaven together. "Babe, you take care of our Gigi. And I got Nani, Bibi, and Coco. We're still the best team."
The letters Kobe left behind, both the literal Dear Basketball and the metaphorical letters written through his actions and love, would become the foundation upon which his daughters would build their lives, carrying forward the lessons of a father who had learned that true greatness isn't measured by championships, but by the love you give to those who matter most. If you enjoyed watching this video, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen for more.